Hello, good evening. Welcome to another live episode of the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. I'm Bryan Fulford, always joining me on these lovely Wednesday evenings. Kelvin Rozier, Marcus Green. Brothers, good to see you. How we feeling? How we feeling tonight?
Happy homecoming, fellas.
Yeah, there's a positive.
Happy, yes. Oh my God, I needed that. Happy homecoming.
Yeah, feeling good, man. I'm gonna focus in on the weekend. Got a chance to see a lot of the FAMU faithful. What's up, Ken and Alice? We'll do shout outs later, and I'll do a little bit of a roll call. But yeah, man, wonderful environment. Great win, great big win. We saw some things that this team is improving, and so when we get to the game, I'm gonna just talk about some of the things I saw. Definitely, Fang Exchange was in the house,
right?
And man, it was just the weather was pretty good. The tailgate was awesome. So man,
it looked good.
Feeling good.
All the visuals, video, all the pictures, it looked good. So Good to see everybody looking good. Marcus, you and I were away from Tallahassee. How did you spend your virtual homecoming?
Watching the game.
Yeah.
And I saw the first half, and then I had to listen to the second half because I had to go to the airport. The flights landed inconveniently right around the time, right when halftime was over. I was like, oh man, but
thank God for phones. Thank God for phones, right?
Yeah, I watched it. I listened to it and then I rewatched it a little bit later. But other than that, I had a good weekend. Yesterday was kind of long.
Yeah.
That was non-FAMU related stuff. I actually worked the polls, so
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
still
it was what it was, right?
Yeah.
Those of you who did vote along with us, thank you for going out and voting. Obviously, as Vice President Harris said, results didn't go the way we had hoped they would. And we can save the commentary for later in terms of what it means for America. I mean, being someone who teaches history and government, it's kind of interesting interacting with 18 and 17-year-olds and hearing their opinions. Sometimes it's head scratching, but a different generation. And, all you can do is just provide some things to ask them to think and analyze and do research, So I'd not try to interject my own personal thoughts too much in things. But no matter how you're feeling, you might be feeling a little down. You might be feeling a little discouraged. Keep hope. Let's continue to strive and pray for better, and let's do our part in our communities. And I think that's the best that we can do, is that we all find a way in our own way to make a difference. And one day that time will come, and but we'll have to all kind of move forward together as one country. So with that said, I want to thank everybody. Make sure you stop in if you're coming in, however you're watching us. You might be watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Hit the thumbs up or the like button. We say thank you for doing that early. Also, hello to everybody watching on Instagram at O&G Strike Zone, as well as those watching on X. You might be watching on X via the Black College Sports Network or the retweet from our O&G Strike Zone Twitter feed. Make sure you're following all those channels. Support however you can, wherever you can. We appreciate the Cash App donations right there. Also anybody that's in the YouTube, my JBN, you can always leave a super chat as well. All of it's appreciated. Helps to keep things moving forward. So a lot to talk about on tonight's show. Of course, big football homecoming win. We'll talk about that coming up shortly. Some things that we haven't seen all season. So that's exciting and new. And our volleyball team went up to FAM-ABAMA, and they do what they do. Just win. That's all they do is win. And so we'll talk about that big win. Our golf team went out and won another one. These young golfers are getting it done. We're starting to see why Coach Rice was so excited, right? Are we starting to see it? He was excited about this young group of golfers, and he has definite reason to. Basketball season got off to a start on Tuesday at home and on the road in Dallas. So we'll talk about the start of the basketball season from Monday. Both teams are in action tomorrow. So we'll kind of do a quick preview of that. And we've got our one of our top tennis players participating in the national tournament coming up this week. So we'll give her a shout out as well. But before we go to those shout outs, we always like to start the show by recognizing the great group of people who come into the chats, who check in from wherever they are across the great states, maybe even overseas. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody check in from overseas, but I know we got people as far north. Obviously as far north as Marcus, and as far west as California. So let's get ready to go through the roll call here, as we like to do in the opening of the show. First up, Jimmy Mack checking in.
Great to see you at the tailgate, Jimmy Mack and Breaking Bread. It's been a minute.
Yeah, always good to be a Rattler indeed. Always good to be a Rattler. Let me see. Bull checks in.
What's up, Bull?
Yep, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Ezekiel Love.
What's up, Zeke?
Mm-hmm. Ken, good to see you, Ken. Thanks for checking
What's up,
in.
Ken?
Marvin Allen from Duval County.
What's up, Marvin?
Duval checking in. Meredith.
What's going on, Meredith?
Thanks for being a JBN subscriber on our YouTube channel. Thank you, Meredith. Appreciate you. Let's see. Ken had a good time, it looks like. Yes, he did. All right.
Yeah, we had some good conversation.
You can confirm that, huh? All right. Coach Ferrossi checking in. Good to see you, Coach.
What's up, Coach?
Checking in. Good to see you. B Starks.
B Stars, what's happening?
Thanks for being a JBN subscriber, Bryan.
Charlotte in the house.
Yeah.
Die.
Tony, good to see you, Tony. Thanks for checking in. Appreciate you. Mary 305.
What's up, Mary?
Thank you for being a JBN subscriber as well. Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus, for always helping and setting us up early. He's one of those guys who get there early, help the boys out. What's up, Marcus?
Thanks for being a JBN subscriber as well. Appreciate you, Marcus. Little baby. Good to see you, little baby. Checking in. Demetra. Checking in.
What's up, Demetra?
Mm-hmm. Good to see you. M. Mac Webb. Appreciate you.
What's up, Mac?
Yes, indeed. 52 was a good number. We'll see what we do when we come to Texas. Head to Texas this weekend. He's predicting looks like another 50 spot. Melissa Wilson checking in. All right, Melissa. Appreciate you.
Hey, Melissa.
Gail. Good to see you, Gail.
What's up, Gail?
All right. Ashley C checking in.
What's going on, Ashley C?
Hey, Ashley. In the house.
Oh, I got to get my vodka bottle.
Oh, okay. How is it? Can you provide? Is it taste as good as the promotion says?
Absolutely. It tastes like Rattler vodka.
There you go. Strong but not too bitter, right?
No, everything good. It's all good. It gets you where you're trying to get to. Well said. Good to see you, Robert.
Thank you for checking in. Part of the Dirty Dozen, Z28. All right. Appreciate you. Troy White.
What's up, Troy?
Homecoming was everything, huh? Okay. All right. Step it up there. Good to see Fang Exchange. Keith checking in.
Keith?
Good to see you.
Thanks for your appearance, Keith, and chatting with us.
Mm-hmm. James Austin. Yeah, I
What's
think
up,
it's a little
James?
too late. I think it's a little too late to move that last game, right? Yeah, but
Yeah, can't do it.
nah, we just got to keep playing it out. One of those unfortunate circumstances. You blame Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Jab, good to see
What's
you.
up,
Thanks
Jab?
for checking in. Appreciate you. I echo those sentiments as well. Appreciate you, Keith. Road Dog checking in.
What's up, Mike?
Yeah. Well said. Regardless, FAMU still gonna win the Florida Classic. Okay. Chuck Hunt checking in from Monroe,
Nashville,
Louisiana.
Tennessee. Oh, Monroe.
Appreciate you, Chuck.
He's still in Monroe. Okay.
Alice McCullough checking in. Homecoming.
What's up,
indeed.
Alex?
All right. Good to see you. Carrie Daniels, thanks for checking in.
Ball.
Joe King, good to see you, Joe. Thank you
What's
for
up,
checking
Joe?
in as well. Tamara T, good to
What's
see you,
up, Tamara
Tamara.
T?
Thank you for being a JBN subscriber.
Also on deck.
Colonel Eli checking in. Yeah, we're gonna have Colonel Eli coming on a little bit later on in the show. Give us an update on some things. Dr. Cavill checking
Thank
us
you,
out.
Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Doc came through at tailgate. I missed his message earlier, and he just happened to be passing by. And Doc, I think he Doc might have had some of them barbecue pig feet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, okay.
I know his road dog did, but no.
Doc was impressed. He said he did tell me. He said Rattlers do it right, boy. I said, yeah, we know how to do a little something. So I know the family, y'all coming out there. Doc tells me expect a great tailgate. Rattler Nation who's coming out to PV.
Yeah,
He
said a joint tailgate, right?
Yeah. He said expect some good times. So y'all make sure to look for Doc as you head out to the tailgates there in Prairie View. I think it's one of the first times FAMU's been to Prairie View in a long time, since 60s. I think it's the 60s. It's been a long time since FAMU been to Prairie View. So yeah, Doc said, yeah, big feet and all. Yeah. Ashton Harris, good to see you, Ashton.
It was good hanging out with you, Ashton.
Earl, AD Earl. How's the tailgate, Earl?
Good to see Earl. You know, Earl them do it big, you know.
Oh, I know. I bet. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, appreciate everybody coming in. Yeah, Doc said it's been the 60s. Yeah, it's been a long time since FAMU's come to Prairie View. So I told you, I said this last year. It's been a long time since FAMU been in Texas. Mm-hmm. And so now we get back-to-back years so look for hopefully Rattler Nation really shows up. I know Rattler Nation showed up really well when we went to Texas Southern last year. And, obviously Prairie View is not that far away from Houston. So it's a great opportunity. Kylan asked a great question. Is the hill back open? I don't think it was back open.
No, not this season. We're working for next season, Kylan.
Yeah, no hill, no cannon. So, just keep hope alive for next year. Keep hope alive for next season. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. All right, fellas. Well, as mentioned, the good guys got a big win at home against Texas Southern. A good win for the Rattlers. 52-28 was the score. Some of the highlighted things that stood out, in this contest, of course, the score. First time this season that FAMU scored over 30 points, over 40 points, over 50 points. Look, I don't know. Look, and even 21 points of offense. Yes, indeed, even that. So it was all kinds of first of the season. I think I heard a stat. The last time FAMU scored 50-something points was like 2019.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it was the Del State game.
Okay. Yeah, so it'd been a long time since FAMU scored that many points. Also telling in this game was how balanced the game was. We had 295 yards passing 236 yards rushing in the contest. We even had our first rushing touchdown. And I'll tell you, fellas, I was starting to wonder if it was going to happen, given the number of short passing opportunities. One of the jokes that we had Kelvin on last week, and he talked about how we never got inside the 30 with the ball because we were scoring from such far distances, right? And sure enough, we had
first touchdown. Touchdown.
We had touchdown passes from
1 yard,
1 yard, 6 yards, 17 yards, 10 yards. And I'm thinking by that point, guys, I'm like, oh, hell, it's not happening.
Yeah,
I swear, I'm thinking there's no way we're going to get a rushing touchdown in this game. We even had a 22-yard touchdown pass. Those were the 5 touchdown passes thrown by Daniel Richardson, by the way. And of course, though, thankfully, it finally came in the fourth quarter, 12-21 to play in the fourth quarter from on the cap of a 10-play, 76-yard drive. Thad Franklin gets the 1-yard rushing touchdown that had long eluded the offense all season. So it took a while to get there, but we got there. And we also had a kickoff return touchdown. Robert Lockhart with a 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the third quarter, which kind of a little back and forth was going on there with that. Lockhart got a touchdown return, and then on the ensuing kickoff, Texas Southern had a 90-yard kickoff return. So all in all, there were 42 points scored in the third quarter. I had to, while you guys are talking, I'm going to look to see if that was even a record. But let's go around the horn. Let's kind of get our instant reaction. I'll start with you, Marcus, and then I'll finish with you, Kelvin, because I know since you were on site, you may have some extra things to add. So, Marcus, what were some of your takeaways from the game?
Well, I really like how they came out. I was a little I liked how we came out offensively. I like how we showcased a lot of the talent that we had and had a good mix. I was mildly disappointed a little bit that, we could have scored if we had scored on taking advantage of some of the drives early in the first quarter. It could have been an even higher score. Everything else went the same just because it seemed like we had a couple opportunities starting on plus side of the field. And I was hoping that Bo Somerset would have gotten all the way to the end zone when he broke that run, but he got caught like right inside the 5. So I was like, or just outside the 5. But otherwise, I think it was a good performance. Defensively, outstanding, holding them to minimal yards, just about. It seemed like there was just a lot of 3-and-outs and incomplete drives the whole first half until I guess they got a late interception right in the first half and put them in plus territory. And then I guess the defense still held up, and then they tried a Hail Mary. So overall, I was pleased with that. The third quarter, it was an offensive explosion. If you like open offense, that was it. But I thought we were just going to pull away, especially when we went up 28. And I was like, okay, this is it, and then things just started happening. But overall, I think it was probably the closest overall best performance of the team. Now, if we had, the special teams gave up a lot more than we've typically seen. So, that phase of it, and Coach Coles even mentioned it. But other than that, it was probably the most dominant game we've had this year, and the most complete game we've had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you. That definitely was our most dominant performance of the season. In saying that, we held, as much as Texas Southern scoring 28 points. Texas Southern scored 28 points, but we held them to 164 yards of total offense. 53 yards passing, 111 rushing yards. So and they only got 7 first downs. They were 1 of 11 on 3rd down. So don't let the score fool you into believing that this was a close game. I mean, FAMU had a 21-0 lead at halftime. It got interesting, but, we controlled that game. Kelvin, your thoughts?
The team is getting better. And not just the players, the coaches are getting better. One thing I point to that stood out to me is the utilization of Pruitt. Now, I understand that, that's a two-way street, but the fact that everybody seems to be on the same page now, coaches and the player, you can see what his talent level is, what he can do. And he's a great compliment, as he was last year, to our offense. So he kind of led the way in terms of receptions and in production, and he had an attitude. he played with some swag, and so that was one thing that stood out for me. The defense. If you look at the last couple of games, Southern included, even Jackson State, to be honest, outside of the one run that my man busted, and it wasn't because the defense wasn't there. He just missed the tackle. But I think one of the things I've noticed that is different with the defense is, the hallmark of the Dark Cloud defense in the past was that they were swarming. There was always more than one guy around the ball. And you kind of seeing that now, where, even if a guy does break a tackle, there's a second or third guy there to clean up the tackle. So our Dark Cloud defense is swarming. And then on the opposite side of the ball, we got a lot more run production. But we still scored our touchdowns, passing 5 touchdowns. And we played complementary football in the sense that the pass kind of set up the run, which, again, I don't know why folks would try to argue that's just the makeup of this team. Our offense flow better when we throw but it's the short passes, right? It's not the down the middle bombs. That's the key. We use he completed the ball, and he's kind of done this all year. Richardson completed the passes to 8, 9 receivers at least, and tight ends and running backs. So he distributed to everybody, and we didn't really utilize our number 1 receiver a whole lot this game for whatever reason, which is Gassett. So it showed our talent and depth. Now going, so I was really impressed. There was only 2 downsides to the game for me, and that's the turnovers, and then of course the kick returns, the 2 big kick returns. Now the one thing I want to do is I want to give Coach Henry a shout out, because folks been pressing about the offense and what its potential is, and understandably so, to be honest. But again, first year coaches and coordinators calling plays, a lot of new players. Sometimes it takes time, and you can just see the growth of everybody, and I think it bodes well for the remaining games. I also talked about scheduling. We played a lot of our best teams up front. So we were learning on the fly with a new team, new coordinators against the best of the best. Now we playing teams that, frankly, we better than. And so we getting to put up some stats. So, man, it was a great weekend. It was a really solid game, and we just need to show we can do it on the road. This is our last true road game of the year.
Yeah.
And Prairie View is a decent enough team. Well, if we keep it close, it can be interesting. So I want to see that domination on the road. Then I know this team is ready.
Kelvin, I want to ask you a quick question. During the J-State game, the Jackson State game, I noticed a couple series on defense where it looked like we had a 3-4 look. Have you seen that since then?
Yes.
I mean, since that game, I don't. Okay.
Yes. Yes. To answer your question,
Since the Jackson State game?
yes.
Okay.
We
I thought
show a
this
look.
was
It don't necessarily we don't necessarily have a linebacker every time that walks up, but it could be
Mm,
that extra safety or the nickel back. But yeah, we show a 7 in the box look multiple
mm,
times during the game, and that frankly that's helping. And to be honest, we aren't playing quarterbacks who are elite, so it makes no sense for us to run that 4-2-5. To be honest, and have the two safeties and then just cover the receivers because they ain't throwing the ball. They trying to hit us with the run,
mm.
and when they do throw the ball, they're not throwing it well. So it just makes sense. And that's the other thing I would point out. Both defense coordinator, shout out to him and Coach Henry. I can see the adjustments. What we doing kind of makes sense. We've got some other guys in the rotation. To me, we got guys who fit what we asking them to do. So the coaches are coaching and the players are playing.
just a couple of stats individually that I found interesting from the receiving core. 12 different receivers caught a pass. Now, and 7 of those 12 caught 2 passes or more. Leading the way was Jeremiah Pruitt, 6 receptions, 60 yards, and a score. Jalen Ward, 4 catches, 60 yards for a touchdown. The passers, it was Richardson for most of the way. He was 25 of 33, 267 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 1 time. There was a Junior Murtovic sighting. Junior was 2 for 3 on the day. I saw the good question from Tony asked the question whether the availability of Johnson, he looked to be not in or not dressed. And I think the question he asked you, Kelvin, do you think if Johnson had dressed that game, that we would have seen so much of Pruitt?
Of course, when you add another person into the mix, then it may cut down on the number of reps. But we were going to see him. Coach talked about it today that Pruitt has been a great teammate over the last 3-4 weeks, and that has helped contribute him being on the field and getting more opportunities. So I think his real first and significant sighting was Jackson State game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got 3 capable tight ends. So, but Pruitt has a little bit different, something a little bit different than the other 2 in terms of catching and a weapon to go the distance. I think because he was a receiver before he was a tight end.
Right. And I'll also add this: we did, because obviously it was kind of well seen that we didn't see our wide receiver 1, Jamari Gassett, at the start of the game, although he did catch 2 passes for 40 yards. I think the fact that the offense still flourished, receivers still caught the ball, further emphasizes the depth of our receiving core. And so for whatever reason, that Gassett didn't start the game, hey, I'm not going to say he wasn't missed, but we were able to move forward without him in the beginning of that contest. And so shout out to Coach AC for keeping and coaching everybody up as well as he does. And that guys were ready. When their number was called, guys are ready. I mean, Pruitt, ready. When he got his opportunity, he was ready. So it was kind of good to see so many guys get an opportunity and us still look efficient. All right, let's take our first break. Maybe we'll give a few more stats, talk a little bit about some of the awards and recognition, a little bit of the action across the SWAC in week number 10, which just so happened to be the first weekend when all 12 SWAC teams played against each other. And this week happens to be another week for that. Just, put that feather in your cap. So let's take a break. Coming up on the other side, Colonel Eli is going to come in. We got some news we want to share. Time to collect some checks because we told you last week there was a drive. If we accomplished the rushing touchdown, well, it was going to be time to make some donations. So we'll talk about that here on the other side of this short break. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. It's a pleasure to be joined by Colonel Eli Patrick of the Patrick Youth Development Foundation. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How are y'all?
Hey, we're doing well. Happy homecoming. How's
What's up,
homecoming
Eli?
for you?
Yeah, what's up, man? Hey, homecoming was good, man. It's just, that family reunion, FAMU reunion. It was good. Day party was good. The tailgate was good. Hit the Fang Exchange tent with the little taste test. It was definitely on point. So it was great. And I give a shout out to my little college brothers, man. I don't know if you've been looking online, man, that their little block party over at the frat house, the Beta New brothers, man, they got it in over there. I was like, wow. I was impressed.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff going on. What were some of your takeaways from the game? 52-38, many a first in this contest, man. Always a good one.
28. Don't give him 10 points. 52-28.
What I say? Oh, I'm sorry. 52-28. I'm sorry. 52-20. Thank you. Good catch.
Yeah. I think y'all touched on a lot of it, man. I think that Richardson, I think he always spreads the ball out really well. He even took off for a nice little run there in the second half. I was really happy to see that because I didn't know if he was gun shy or why he wasn't taking off the run when he had so much running room sometimes. But it was one play, I think he made 15, 20 yards and he did what a good quarterback's going to do. He slid, so he doesn't take the hits. I thought I heard something about Gassett being nicked up or something. Maybe that's why he wasn't playing. I thought he had sprained. I think I read something. Maybe he had sprained his ankle or something. But just to be able to, spread the ball around to our other weapons. And you were absolutely right. Pruitt was playing with attitude. I even saw him get super excited about a block. He blocked the guy out of bounds. And I was like, that is what I'm talking about. When he's playing with that kind of attitude, man, he's gonna be hard to stop, man. We need to give him the ball when he's acting like that. When he's playing like that, we need to get him the ball. And also, I don't know, we don't talk a lot about the young kid, man. He's one of the guys that we have on the NIL contract, but that's Goldie Lawrence, man. He's just a freshman, man. Number 13 is just a freshman. So you need to look out for him. He had a good run, and then he tweaked his knee and immediately went into the locker room. But I did correspond with him. He said he's fine. He said he'll be back in practice by Tuesday. But y'all need to look out for him, man. We need to make sure we hold on to him because we got some seniors out there, and literally like seniors and some grad receivers. So we need to make sure we hold on to these young ones like Goldie. But good game though, man. Glad to see that first rushing touchdown. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But it was a great game, man.
Yeah, Goldie Lawrence, for anybody that might not know, freshman from out of Sanford, Florida, right out of Orlando, Central Florida area where I am. Probably played at Seminole High School, which if anybody knows, I don't even know what the largest, there's a 6 or 7A where we're at these days in the state.
I think 7A.
7A, yeah. So 7A school, powerhouse, always loads of talent. At Sanford, and I think he previously maybe did a stop at Florida State. So a good transfer for us. I saw someone EA says Ace Cobb also not dressed. Just talk about the depth. I mean, there it is again, another big time receiver. So man, I tell you, it was good to see Goldie get an opportunity as well as some of the other guys do their thing.
What's about my man 85? What's his name again? The one that was returning the kickoffs?
Robert Lockhart.
Hey,
Robert Lockhart.
Yeah, I don't know if I didn't notice him other games, but I definitely noticed him at homecoming. He was making a statement with those returns.
Well, I think he had a nice return in the game before, and he kind of it was kind of a teaser. I mean, it was kind of the first time I think that he had an opportunity to return kicks. But I mean, we've been paying attention to Lockhart. We were aware of Lockhart because I believe he came in with Somerset, didn't he, Marcus?
Yes, he was class of 2023.
Yeah, and we knew those two dudes were the future, and they were special talented dudes. So good to see Lockhart get an opportunity to do that. Ezekiel Love dropping some news. I didn't know about that. Ace Cobb potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, play I saw one of the touchdowns. You could see he had something on his wrist or arm. I don't know how. Okay.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to get our injury reports.
Yeah. I don't know if the reports are true. Appreciate that info, Ezekiel. We'll keep our eyes open on that. I guess we'll know more as the weeks go by if we don't see him. But we'll pray that Ace recovers well and is able to get back on the field sooner than later. All right, but great info in the chat. So I appreciate you guys in the chat keeping us posted. If you're not in the JBN chats, you're missing out. Go ahead, Marcus. You got something you want to add there?
Oh no, I'm just saying. All right, let's not give injury reports on public spaces. I'm sure Coach will reveal that if he wants to.
Well, they won't. That's the thing. So they won't. They normally don't give out that kind. So I mean, it's all rumor and conjecture in the chats. But
okay,
until we. But I think what's being posted is that he posted something on his Instagram story. So kids share stuff. So if it's put out there, I guess that's where you can go find it if you're interested. But let's talk about that other big piece of news. We've been waiting for so long. Starving like Marvin for that rushing touchdown to come along. And it finally you see that? I did that. Right?
Yeah,
I
did
that. Look, I didn't think it was going to happen. I said that earlier. I don't know if you heard me, Eli. I didn't think it was going to happen.
I did. I was listening.
We scored. Remember, the joke was we never got inside of the what I think Kelvin said, the 30.
The 30. He said they keep throwing 30-yard touchdowns. He said they never get in a position to run a touchdown in.
And our 5 touchdown passes were everywhere from as close as 1 yard to as far out as 22. 5 touchdown passes inside of 25 yards. And I swear after the 4th one, I was like, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This is the perfect game. It's not going to happen. Sure enough, in the 4th quarter, Thad Franklin gets it done. So you know what that means, everybody. All those pledges, it's time to bring the money.
$50, baby, $50.
I did put the link, that $50 donation. I put the link in the chat. I'll post it one more time. Make that donation to the PYDF NIL fund right there. The link is there. And hey, I know the people who pledged are good for it, so I know they are. But if anybody else wants to get on board and join, you can go ahead, donate that $50 to the NIL fund. Now that we got our first rushing touchdown of the season in our 8th game of the year. So
Dean reminded me. He shot me a text. He shot me a text yesterday. He said, I hope they come through like they said they were. He said, don't forget I had a receiving touchdown.
You know what? I saw that. I saw he had a receiving touchdown, and I was like, oh,
he
man.
did. He didn't have a rushing touchdown, but he did have a receiving touchdown.
And he promised, he said he would get a touchdown. He said he felt like he got a touchdown last homecoming, so he called that. I thought about that when he scored. I was like, man. He did. So
Dean's something else, man. He's good. He's a good man. He's a good young man. Great young man.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a couple people saying, Marcus, that Coach Cozy kind of confirmed the news regarding Ace Cobb. So
okay,
appreciate you, Demetra and Ezekiel, for sharing that news. Apparently, Ace Cobb with the injury to his wrist and surgery was today. Thank you, Jordan Hatton, as well, for dropping some info. So I appreciate everybody in the chats. That's what I love about this show. You guys keep it 100 and keep the info pouring in. So good stuff. Good stuff. Are you making a trip out to Prairie View?
Nah, man, my wife has shut me down, man. She seemed like she had scheduled something on every game weekend. She sat me down, had a little talk with me today. She said, hey. And my wife is not scared to have a tough conversation. She was just like, hey, you've been on that. Oh, I do, man. She was like, you've been on that road, young man. I was like, yeah, I have. But I've been fighting a good fight for this NIL for these athletes, man. That's why I've been coming down there multiple days. I've been trying to make the 220 quarterback club. I made it a couple times. I just been trying to network. And then I got the opportunity to talk to a board trustee at homecoming. Okay. And, everybody's on board with NIL, man. We just got to, keep that momentum going. And, I mean, Ashley's doing some great things. That's why I'm representing. Got to do the shout out. Shout out for Fang Exchange. And then my man, Steve, he would have said something by now. He may not be on the call tonight. But, Mr. President, I put my shirt on for him tonight, my FAMU freshman class of 88. 1988. So that's for Steve, man. He's a huge supporter, man, of everything FAMU and of me, man. So I definitely said, I saw my shirt in the drawer. I said, I got to wear that tonight for Steve.
There you go. Good stuff. Let me see.
Somebody threw you off track. My bad.
No. You're good. I'm kind of reading chat messages here as well. Appreciate everybody. I see Kenya in the chats. I saw Kenya made the trip. So she was taking pics with everybody. She's meeting all the coaches and everything, man, and good stuff. So anything, let me see. What else am I missing? What else? Steve, Mr. Campbell said he will be honoring his bet. That's what's up. That's good.
Oh, I was going to text him. You my boy, but I was going to remind him, say, hey, don't forget us.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, with you not being on the road, and the thing Kelvin brought this up, we do have the opportunity. Look, this is the last real road trip. Everything else is in the state. Obviously, we've got 2 more home games, and we got the Florida Classic. So, after this trip to Texas, the last 3 weeks are in Tallahassee. Any other plans or any other happenings going on that we need to talk about or that we maybe missed on or that we should be looking to after homecoming?
Yeah, well, I'll be at right now. I'm planning on being at the Florida Classic because, like I said, the missus is planning a couple of things for even the 2 home games that we got. I got a mini family reunion, I think, on the day after Thanksgiving. But I will be down at the Classic in a couple of weeks. But hopefully, we're going to have an announcement in the next few weeks for the FANG Exchange and PYDF. We're going to do a joint venture, try to take care of the athletes. And that's another good thing about homecoming. I got a chance to talk to several other coaches. I talked to the track coach, both basketball coaches. So we're going to try to get some things going, not just for football, but we're going to try to get some things going for all our athletes. And I know Ellis, I don't think he's been on the show, one of my frat brothers that helps out Ashley with FANG Exchange. He was like, man, we got to get a volleyball player on the NIL deal. I mean, they're killing it, man. You know, we don't want to lose them either. And I've been listening to the show. We talked about who else? The volleyball team, the tennis young lady, going out doing some good things. Basketball team going up. But we have some announcements coming in the next few weeks. So me and Ashley actually talked today on the phone. So hopefully we'll announce some things in the next couple of weeks. And then I'll definitely be making a presence for the Classic. That's going to be a semi. Enjoy your time, but network, get a little work in for these athletes, because that's why we do it, man. We're doing it for these athletes. And before I go, let me say this, because this is bigger than athletics, man. I heard you guys talking about the election briefly, and y'all hit it on the head, Bryan. You hit it on the head, man. Everybody just need to make sure they stay prayed up and just continue to work in the community and work for FAMU. So if you do those things, don't worry about that election. You can't control that now, man. That's gone. So just keep moving forward and stay prayed up. That's about all you can do, man.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Let me see. What's Marvin Allen? Okay, Marvin. Try that link, Marvin. I don't know. Well, I know Ashley's in the chat, so I know Ashley will see that message there from Marvin, and they'll address that appropriately. All right. Well, how are you going to watch the game? Are you going to watch it? You going to try to do a watch party? You're just going to watch it in the house? That you just going to?
Oh, you're talking about the next few?
No, this game preview.
Yeah, man, my boy Brian Starks, man, he keeps me honest. He makes sure I get connected to every game. So I'm just my watch party might be on my iPhone, but it'll be a watch party nonetheless. But yeah, I'm just glad that y'all keep us on as far as supporting our games, our team, man. Because so many people get wrapped up with the Power 5 this and Alabama, because I live in Alabama. My wife went to the University of Alabama. So, man, believe it or not, I've been supporting FAMU so hard this season, man. I haven't been paying attention to those Power 5, SEC, AC. I hadn't even been paying attention to those games, man. It's been 100% about all FAMU now. But, yeah, I'll watch it, most definitely. I wish I could be there, man, but I've never been to Prairie View. It was Prairie View, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Never been to Prairie View, man. So I wish I could make it out there.
Well, that's the one blessing about this year. It is an unprecedented year of available coverage. So there's so many HBCUs on all divisions, the D2, the Division I, the various conferences, SWAC, MEAC. So this is an unprecedented year. So it really, I kind of agree with you. I'm used to I normally am watching, my P5 team that I grew up on and the HBCUs, but I've probably done less this year because there's so many HBCU games easily accessible via various streaming platforms and on the TV and the cable. Well, I don't even have cable, so I can't even call it cable, but you know what I mean. So yeah. All right. Well, hey, enjoy the weekend. And we'll make sure to send out another link. And again, I want to encourage everybody. $50 donation for getting that first rushing touchdown. Appreciate those who have donated. Those who will, you may be watching the show later. Make sure that we post that link again in the description of the show, as well as once again in the chat. So, Colonel Eli, thank you for your time tonight.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on again. I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, fellas. Let's keep with the theme and kind of talking a little bit about this game while we can, because we got a player of the week that made the SWAC player of the week list, and that was Daniel Richardson. Richardson Didn't get the offensive player of the week, but he did get the newcomer of the week award. 267 passing yards, 25 of 32 passing, and 5 touchdowns. Got the newcomer of the year. You know, I can imagine it had to be a toss-up because the young man from Southern, he's a freshman as well. So it's like you could have gone with either for newcomer of the year or offensive player of the year. I don't know what T-Set's numbers were from Southern, so I don't know, maybe it is what it is. But, you know, congratulations to Daniel. You know, one of the questions, fellas, that I put out earlier, look, Ashley, thank you.
No, I'm going to go there too. Yeah.
Yes, I was, look, I've said this now. When I start looking at the SWAC offensive player of the year, and I talked about this on Sunday's show. I got a feeling it's right now looking like it's coming up between Daniel and the running back from Jackson State. Why is his name escaping me? But anyway, he's the only rusher. Yeah, Mulligan.
Mulligan.
He's the only guy averaging 100 yards rushing per game. Now, you know, 7 games I think that he's played in.
Yeah, well, I think he missed the first 2 or 3 for them.
Right. Okay. So, but yeah, only 7 games, but he's averaging 100. He's the only, and like the next person is only averaging like 67 per game. So, I mean, he's by far and away the lead dominant running back in the SWAC. But you go and look at numbers. Daniel's leading the conference in passing yards, passing touchdowns. I think passing efficiency. And might be number 2. He's number 2 in one of those top stats, but he's leading the conference in most of the stats. And the question that I asked my good friend Charles Edmond was, knowing SWAC voters, right? Are SWAC voters going to vote for the quarterback, or are they going to vote for the running back? And both of these teams will be, you know, right now it's Southern that's Jackson State that's in first place, but you know they could stumble. What's your guys' thought, Kelvin and Marcus? What do you do you think? I'm asking you to think like a SWAC voter here. From what you've seen, who do you think might have the inside track?
I think if you look at last year, you got your answer, right? Last year, running back Ladarius Owens at Texas Southern really did have the stats. Musa had good stats, really strong stats. Ladarius had elite stats.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback won it. So if you look at it from that perspective, now we did win. Ladarius was on a losing team. Well, you know, a team that didn't make it to the SWAC championship game.
Right.
And that won't be the case between this running back and this receiver. But you take into consideration right now where it at, the 2 top teams in the conference pretty unanimously. And the fact that Richardson, you look at our schedule. I always, when you split hairs, look who we played, look who they played.
Oh, look.
We don't have in the Division II. He missed 2 games. And we still haven't played again. We still got Valley and Bethune and A&M, which they played 2 out of 3 of those teams, right? So
yeah, they play Valley this week.
Right.
They've already played Bethune
and A&M.
And A&M, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get an opportunity to even pad those stats more potentially. So yeah, right now to me, Richardson is in the driver's seat.
I agree. Now I'm just wondering how much of a role the head-to-head matchup, even though they don't face each other on the field, you know, if depending on how the season concludes for both teams, for both FAMU and J-State, you know, how much of a role that'll play. And the fact that, you know, we lost the head-to-head. Even though it doesn't really impact the stats, but I don't know if that's in the back of their mind, like, well, you know, I can't give it to somebody who's played head-to-head and they lost the game. And also that young man from UAPB, I'm looking at the stats now. I mean, he's over 2,000 with 3 fewer interceptions. The completion percentage is like 54, 55.
He's on a losing team.
Yeah. I'm not talking about for MVP. I'm just talking about for yardage.
Okay.
I mean, he's putting up some good yards, even with an average completion percentage for a quarterback, at 54.7%. But he's balling.
He didn't have a good game against. He didn't have a good game against Jackson though.
No, we won't.
Well, because they had the playbook. Oh, hold on, stop. Let me stop.
Yeah.
You walked me into that. You walked me into that, Kelvin.
I was trying to tee you up.
You walked me into that. Stop it.
I was trying to tee you up.
Anyway, I want to. So EA brings up a great question here because I know this is on a lot of people's minds, and we tried to. I don't know how much of the show you caught on Sunday, EA. We tried our best to go through the scenarios. Okay, the three-way tie scenarios, man. And look, this is all based. This is all based on Jackson State losing to Alabama State, and that being the only loss, and FAMU not losing anymore, Alabama State not losing anymore, right? So what would end up happening is you have three teams at 7-1, all in the Eastern Division, where their only loss came in the Eastern Division. Okay, and the SWAC has from A all the way to, I think I read it down to
L. Right.
And I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to save you all the headache, EA. It's going to come down to a coin toss. I swear.
No.
No?
No.
It was the one before it. It was the one
before it. It's come down to the one before.
What is before
F?
What is before F?
Point differential between
Thank
the teams.
you. Okay, that's what it was. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah. So, because the fact that there's no real common opponents that, I mean, you're looking at record versus the other division. Well, all of them will go 3-0 against the West, so that kind of cancels out. Common division opponents cancel out. It's going to come down to point differential, and this is the part where I think we started stumbling, because FAMU has played both Jackson State and Alabama State. And so the way point differential works, for those of you basically are trying to say what's your win, what's the total score between the two. We lost to Jackson State by 14. We beat Alabama State by
15.
What, 18? So
15.
That's a
15. Yeah, 28-13.
15.
Wait a minute, say it again.
28-13. We beat them by 15.
We beat Alabama State by 15 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought we beat them by, okay, anyway. So that is a differential of plus 1 point. So what needs to happen, this is the bad part for us.
Alabama State win by anything less than 14 or less than 15.
Yeah, so there you go.
Is that simple?
That's simple. Thank you. I'm glad
Alabama State win, but they win by less than 15.
Right. Yes. So, and no, B Starks. You guys, you got to get out of this. The Jackson State loss to Grambling means absolutely nothing.
It wasn't a conference
And the
game.
reason it means absolutely nothing is because that game was not a conference scheduled game. It was a non-conference conference game. It didn't count against their SWAC schedule. If it did, they would have a loss.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean anything. Forget talking about the Grambling game. I keep seeing people. It means nothing except the people like me who are ranking teams and using something where you lost to a team that was ranked 109th in the country, and FAMU's only loss, is to Jackson State, ranked whatever. I mean, it means nothing. Forget Grambling beating Jackson State. It's a bad loss on Jackson State's resume. It means nothing. So again, Kelvin broke it down. Alabama State, as long as they don't beat Jackson State by more than 15 points, by the tie-breaking rules, we should get the advancement to the championship game. Now, again, what has to happen? Let me say it one last time. Alabama State has to beat Jackson State while not losing any more games.
Right.
Okay, let me look at let me bring up the standings here while we're doing all this. There's the standings. The last 3 games of the season for Alabama State. Okay, they cannot lose anymore, and that would mean that they beat Jackson State. Okay. Don't forget, Jackson State still has to play. They play Valley this week. They play Alabama State the following week, and then they play
their rival,
Alcorn. So, as you can see, Alcorn over in the West, Alcorn still has something to play for. So that game between Jackson State and Alcorn could be a game that matters for both teams in different ways. Okay. Especially if Alabama State beats Jackson State. So we need the three game tiebreaker, and or we need Jackson State to lose
their last
twice.
two.
If Jackson State's only loss ends up being Alcorn at the end of the season, then they're going to the championship. They got the tiebreaker over us. So this is where the Alabama State part needs to come in.
Hey, Gerald, check your Twitter DM. I just sent you something.
So we just have to deal with it. But again, FAMU has to take care of their business. And kind of there you see the all of the stuff, the standings. Bethune gets their second win and stuff like that. All right, so I hope all that explains the tie-breaking scenarios to everybody. I know it's a little complicated. There we go. All right, let's take a break. Coming up in hour 2, at the bottom of hour 2, Liv for Hoops. We're gonna be talking some basketball with Liv. She was back home in Tallahassee in the Lawson Center, the house that she helped build. That's right, I said it. The house that she built. I'm just hyping my girl up. I'm mad that I didn't get a chance to call a game with her though. I can't even express how upset I am about that, but I won't tell her that on the air. But anyway, so coming up, we're gonna talk about our volleyball team, our golf team, and the and our tennis star leader Sarah Rakim, who's heading off to the ITA national tournament. So we'll talk about that and some more coming up on the other side. And I'll repost the PYDF NIL fund link for those of you who'd like to donate that $50 to the fund, since we got our first rushing touchdown. You're listening and watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Hey, grab me one too.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft. Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less. So it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube, Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. Bryan, Marcus Greeny, Kelvin Rozier. Hold on, I gotta finish one tweet here so I can let people know who's joining us. Shout out as we got, as I said, bottom of hour 2 coming up. Here we got Liv for Hoops. Olivia will be joining us here, along with we'll get into talking about some basketball team, men and women opening their season at home and on the road. And let's get into talking about our softball teams, fellas. Give me a second to kind of pull up that information here. The ladies.
Volleyball?
Yeah. What I say? Okay. I'm sorry.
Not softball.
I'm all over the place right now. I'm trying to do 5 different things. So, okay. So, first off, the ladies went out to, as we like to say, the state that we own, FAM-ABAMA. FAM-ABAMA. And we picked up a pair of dubs. First off, the long streak that we had of sweeps finally came to an end after taking the first 2 sets against Alabama State, 25-22, 26-24. We finally gave up a set. Let me see. I don't know how long of a streak it was. So if anybody is able to count it back and figure out how many straight sets we had won in conference play, but we lost that 3rd set 25-22, and then pick up the 4th set 25-22. We also, that marked our 20th win of the season, so that's the 3rd 20-win season in the last 4 years under Coach Gokhan.
Now, one thing about that set that we did lose to Alabama State, I think I have to look back. I think the first 2 were kind of close, but they had like a 10-point lead. I think it was 17-7. And the ladies fought back to tie it at 21, I believe. And then I think on the serve, we lost a service error, and then they pulled away in that 3rd game. But, I mean, they showed some resilience just in that 3rd set versus Alabama State, where they were down big. And I was like, I was keeping up with some of the score online or via the app. And they showed resilience coming back just because I figured, okay, they'll just chalk that one. I was like, okay, we'll regroup in the 4th set, which they did. But I thought they were just going to, chuck that up as an L. But they fought back and actually made it a scrap to the end.
Yeah, Alabama State is the team that, I was surprised we handled them as well as we did. I mean, this is the only team that has taken a set off of us, if I'm not mistaken. No, Jackson State took a couple off of us.
Yeah, I think we 3-2. I think.
Yeah, and both of those were on the road. Like, we gave up a couple to Jackson State on the road, and this to Alabama State was on the road. So again, we haven't given up one at home. Let me see. With that 20th win, it pushed our record in conference to 12-0. Ayanna Sanford posted a match high for kills for the third consecutive match. She had 15 there against Alabama State. Brooke Lynn Watts recorded her 10th double-double of the season with 12 kills and 12 digs. Farah Farouk posted 7 kills, 2 aces, and 4 blocks. So just a few of the stat stuffers from that contest. Then a couple nights later, or a couple days later, we ended up taking the sweep against Alabama A&M. Pretty much the only set that was close was the second set. We won that 27-25. We swept them in that game. Again, Ayanna Sanford had 10 kills, leading the offense. That was the 4th consecutive match in which she's done that. Brooklyn Watts had 11 digs and 7 kills. Mackenzie Taylor added a match-high 20 assists and moved our record to 21-6 overall, 13-0 in the SWAC. FAMU was one of 13 teams in the nation currently unbeaten in conference play. That number went from 16 to 13 over the course of the week. So FAMU continues to be one of the top teams in the nation, doing something very rare. So,
got a very important match coming up Friday, and then to close out the home session next weekend, we got Bethune-Cookman coming up Friday, and they are 11-2, sitting right behind us, and they're 14-11. They're one of 3 SWAC teams that are above 500, and we played both of them over the next week and a half. Bethune is 11-2, 14-11. Then we play Jackson State at home the following weekend, and they're 10-2, 14-9 overall. So we got to finish strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great point. That game is at Bethune-Cookman on Friday. Okay, that game is at Bethune-Cookman on Friday, 6 p.m. scheduled first serve. We had a pair of young ladies earn SWAC Players of the Week. This was just announced a little earlier this afternoon. Ayani Sanford, and she was named co-offensive player of the week, and Mackenzie Taylor named newcomer of the week. Again, I read some of the stats on Sanford, a sophomore from Fort Walton Beach. Shout out my good friend, Tish, from the same town as her. I had a chance to meet Ayani at the the Rattler Booster thing we went to. So Ayani, real nice young lady, real super cool. I got to reach out to Tish because I told her we would get Ayani on the show. So I think I'm gonna have to just reach out. I'm gonna do it the proper way. I'm gonna reach out through Mr. Padilla, but I'm also drop a bug in my friend's ear and kind of say, hey, we got to get Ayani on the show. So I mentioned that we would. So I got to make sure we get this young lady, outstanding volleyball player, and just a sophomore, true sophomore. She was a freshman, one of the top freshmen in the league last year, and so you can kind of see her starting to come into her own. Hey, I think we already got at least a couple of all SWAC players. I think she's in the running for one of those spots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and then of course Mackenzie Taylor, a true freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, newcomer of the week. She had a match high in assists in the Alabama State game and Alabama A&M, 24 and 20. Also had 7 digs. So congratulations to Ayani and Mackenzie for doing what they did. There you see some of the scores from the weekend in the SWAC. All right.
And actually, I think one of our former players who transferred to BCU. I think maybe last week or week before, she got a Conference Player of the Week award.
Oh,
Jasmine
she did?
Robinson, yes. I can't remember how long ago. I want to say it was within the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
So
good stuff.
It'll be a good battle this Friday.
Yeah. All right. Let's mention. We talk a little bit about our golf team real quick while we're getting into it. Over the week, last couple of days, the Rattler golf team won the Eastside Collegiate Invitational for their second victory of the season. I believe it's back to back, if I'm not mistaken, right? Back to back.
Yes.
The events won. After day one, the Rattlers took a commanding 21-stroke lead, led by Miguel. Miguel, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name and mess it up, but I'll try to get the correct spelling. Miguel, who finished with a 65, which is a -7. On day two, the Rattlers were even better, finishing with a 287, with 287 as a team actually was just one over par. And they actually finished the whole weekend one over par. So a great job by the team. The Rattlers were led by Sasha Robinson, who shot a 7 under par. That's a 137 score. Right behind him was Emilio Garcia, who was +2. And Ethan Hill shot a +3. And Jonathan Scott a +4. So, no, I may have said those wrong. So it was Robinson who actually finished with a +2, Garcia with a +3, Hill with a +4, and Scott finished 12th with a +11. So I was just reading the whole story all wrong. But anyway, congratulations to the team there. And, I think that's Sasha Robinson right there with the medal to the right. You can see the team posed up with Coach Rice. Good stuff.
Man, I tell you, man, this is a young team. And for them to have the success that they're having already this early in the season as freshmen, man, is very impressive. Coach Rice was excited about this young talent he had brought in, and man, he's set up. If nobody comes and steals them away, he's set up for the next 4 years.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have to do what we need to do from the NIL perspective, I'm sure, and continue to pour into these guys and let these guys know. So, we'll have to figure out a way how to make sure we're following these guys and tweet at these guys and let Rattler Nation know how you can stay in touch, because sometimes it's not always about the money. Not always, sometimes, but not always. Sometimes it's about just recognizing the good work that our student athletes are doing. And so, I don't know if we always make their, probably most of these kids are on Instagram. So, I mean, there's the thing. So if you guys are on Instagram, that's probably the best way to find these guys. For us Twitter folks, good luck. Not all of them are on Twitter. But if we're following our student athletes on Instagram, when you see them, you can shout them out. So we'll have to make sure we'll make sure we follow and hit them up on Instagram as best as we can, so that way you guys can then recognize them, because that's what it is. Sometimes showing the love. So it's not always just financial. It's you showing some love and recognition. All right. One other news notes for the world of sports. Our girl, Sarah Rakim, she is headed off. She is in Rome, Georgia for this weekend's ITA Masters. She is one of 32 competing in this national tournament. She earned the spot after winning the fall SWAC tournament back in October. Her first match is tomorrow, Thursday, November 7th at 9 a.m. Eastern. versus a young lady from Fairleigh Dickinson. So there is a link on the FAMU Athletics page. So if you go and check out the story on FAMU Athletics, there is a link, and that link brings up a YouTube page for the Intercollegiate Tennis Association, ITA. So it looks like they will be streaming all of the events or all of the matches. So just kind of, it also looks like the Rome Tennis Center, the Rome, Georgia Tennis Center also has a link. So FAMU Athletics has a couple of links for watching the match, and then there's a live stats link as well. So I want to encourage you guys to put that in your calendar, maybe make a point, put a little secondary window up, so that way you can follow along and watch Sarah's matches beginning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Good stuff. Any additional comments anybody want to add in there?
Now, this tournament, have we ever had a tennis player participate before? And I'm just posing the question. I don't know. We haven't done the research to dig into it, but I'm just curious.
No. I haven't. I haven't. I'm not aware. I don't see any background information from FAMU Athletics that we have. And the bigger thing is trying to figure out how you qualify for this. I think that's also.
So I'm not familiar enough with this fall tournament, and I want to give a shout out to Coach Nikki, who has a new little one.
I heard that.
Which is why she hasn't been on the show yet. She's had maternal duties to do, but when she
congratulations,
gets
shout out Coach Nikki.
Yeah, when she gets settled and everything, and can break away, we'll get her on and see if she can answer some questions.
A future Rattler tennis star in about 18 years. We coming around. I have to keep my eyes open. Marcus had to put that one on the spreadsheet. We had to look out for. We had to look out for that in 18 years. Good stuff. All right. I wanna just briefly, before Liv jumps in and we get into talking hoops with her. Obviously both of our teams kicked off the season. The ladies at home against Howard University, MEAC favorite, one of the two MEAC favorites. Tough loss, 78-66. I heard AD Suggs mention that there were about 2,000 people in the building for that game. Which, I'd say that's a good crowd for a women only. That's a women's only basketball game, which, hey, look, that's what's going to happen this year in the SWAC on Thursdays. Thursdays are women only SWAC matches, SWAC games. So it's good that Rattler Nation kind of gets used to that, because that's what Thursdays are going to look like beginning in January, whether it be home or away. Kelvin, you were in attendance for that game. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit more. On the men's side, tough loss in Dallas or in Texas, taking on Texas Christian, TCU. Both teams opening up their season. They got us 105-59. Quick takeaway for me for the men's game, it came down to first half shooting. And there was a statistic that I put out on Twitter. Both teams shot 16 3-pointers in the first half. They made 11. We made 2. That's tough. That's a difference of 9. That's a difference of 27 points. And there is your. I think the halftime score was 59-22. Something like that. I mean, they were unconscious. It wasn't like we were just leaving guys open. They were knocking down some shots.
They were
shots. So it's just a hot shooting night. Tough to deal with that. And we'll talk about the guys here a little bit more. The ladies, tough game. What were some of your quick observations, Kelvin, from the women's game while you were in the building?
Same thing I talked about with the football team earlier. I love the effort. The effort was phenomenal. We also had 4 ladies who didn't dress, including our sit center. So hopefully,
yeah, I saw Nashani Gilbert didn't dress.
So hopefully we'll, I know some of them were in concussion protocol, and I think one was still getting some clearance stuff done. So, but with the ladies who played, I think we went 10 deep that game. Man, let me say something. Howard has a nice squad. FAMU has a nice squad. It was a great game to watch. Howard had this young lady number 1, and then their point guard.
Oh, How is nice.
Oh man, she's got WNBA written all over, man. I mean, she can play. She can shoot that rock. She can handle it, and she's a tall guard, right? So she can get a shot over folks. But I was really proud of the fight of our team, the way our team looked. The officiating wasn't consistent. But the ladies fought through everything, and they were within 5 or 6 points in the last 2 minutes of the game, and
it was a 2-point ball game with, I wrote this down, 4:23 mark, 2-point ball game. We're at the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah. So I'm gonna leave that for Liv, because I know she's gonna talk about it.
Right.
If we just made our free throws, we shot about 51%, I think, from free throws. We missed at least 13, 14. So I know we missed double-digit free throws. So if we just make our free throws, it's a different game. So I know coach will be addressing that, then turnovers. And most of the turnovers have our little point guard. She's only like 5 feet, 5'1", but oh man, she's a monster. She's quick as a cat. She's hard nosed, put her nose in there. She drove to the hoop multiple times, and and made layups in the lane with traffic. So there was a lot to like. The 2 things I noticed early, and at least one of them I know will be addressed once we have our full complement of players. I'm not sure about the second one. The 2 things I noticed, though, backup point guard. Once our point guard went out of the game, we struggled.
No. Didn't we say that last year? I was like, man.
Yeah, we struggle. So we got to find another reliable point guard. Now the young lady from what was it? Mid Georgia Community College.
Demaya Griffin.
Oh man, she's got game, boy. She's gonna be nice. She's got a very good stroke. Someone I'm expecting more of, and I'm just gonna chalk it up to maturity and learning how to be consistent, was Delancey. She had some careless turnovers, some body language that was a little bit, you could tell she was frustrated. Because because she was coming in and out, she probably wasn't getting the minutes she wanted to. As a matter of fact, I don't recall if she started or not. But to me, she was pressing a little bit, and she's probably got the coach was doing a good job, I thought, of building her up and then pulling it out, and I just think she just got to get mentally tougher, and just fight through it, because the talent is there. Maybe getting a little more shape, but we need more out of her, since she's the returning leading scorer on the team. Even though there's plenty around her, we're pretty deep. But yeah, if we can get her to play at a all SWAC level every game, the right way, then I think that's a big piece.
Well, let's bring in our guest here. You heard her, and you may have saw her on the broadcast on Rattlers Plus as she returned to the Lawson Center, the house that she helped build. None other than Liv.
You're so funny.
Liv for Hoops. Liv, I'm gonna talk you up, Liv, as much as I can. Liv did the broadcast, folks, on Rattlers Plus. She did it without me. Another missed opportunity, missed a chance to call first game with Liv. But that's all right, though. There'll be others. Maybe one day I'll keep it on my bucket list.
Listen, I didn't even know I was going to get pulled into that. He just came up and was like, hey, hop on this with me. I was like, okay.
That's what it takes sometimes. So how was, first off, what was it like? What kind of feeling? By the way, I love the poster in the background there.
Thank you. That's me.
Get out of here. Really? Look at that.
That is me. Yes.
Talk about what it was like to come back home in the Lawson Center where you played and you had so many good memories. Talk a little bit about what it was like coming home.
It was great. I mean, it's such a beautiful gym to come back to. And I saw a lot of people who, I saw our manager, Brandon, at the time. And then Ronnie Mackey. Everyone knows he's Mr. FAMU. He bleeds FAMU. So a lot of people that I went to school with, I ended up seeing. And it was just a great environment. I also know the Howard coaching staff because one of them was actually a coach there when I played. And so it was just good vibes all around. It felt I would say I was nervous just because I hadn't been back in so long, but it was just a really good feeling. And to be able to experience these two teams play, which were, used to be foes, and then to be asked to be on the Rattler Plus broadcast, it was just really fun to be in that environment. And it was a great environment. The crowd was great. They were engaged. They weren't just sitting there trying to look cute. They were cheering and getting into it. So it was good feels all around.
It's funny you say that because that's where we need to get, and hopefully that kind of crowd is infectious and it kind of spreads through the course of the year. Okay, so let's get into the game. Let's talk a little bit about some of the observations. You heard a little bit from me and Kelvin earlier. I know Howard is up there on your list of one of the top overall teams in HBCU women's ball. What do you evaluate? How do you evaluate FAMU in this first contest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it was game one, and I thought it was, a tall task to take on a winning program in your first game, because when you're talking about HBCU women's basketball programs that are known, Howard is definitely up there with what Coach Grace has developed there with her culture and just being a competitive team every single year. I thought they had really good spurts, and when they looked good, and it was kind of the same thing as last year. When they looked bad, it looked bad. I thought those periods of looking bad were shortened and they bounced back a lot faster than we were seeing last year. She also went 10 deep, which is something we're not used to seeing. And she said that they could even go as deep as 13. They have a few players who are out with concussions and they're waiting to see what will happen with that. And so knowing that they have depth when that was such a big issue last year, that's really good, because I also think that helps with injuries down the line. I thought Purifoy, which is a guard that Kelvin touched on, she's so scrappy and little, and she's really good defensive. She's definitely that energizer bunny on the defensive end, which is a spark that they desperately need. Demaya Griffin was great. She was great. She's going to be, I like her coming off the bench, and I think she will give them consistent scoring. I do believe she will end up being the leading scorer of this team this year. She is just a dynamic player who gets it done, and she doesn't let mistakes or bad things that happen affect her play at all. If you saw her out there, she was displaying leadership, not only vocally, but by her body language and how she was bouncing back from mistakes. And I think that's big. Another thing I saw was that Sydney Hendricks, who is I loved her last season. My only concern was that I wanted her to extend her game, and I've been very vocal, and I thought she was giving up wide open jump shots to force the issue into drives. I think that comes with learning and just having confidence, but she's still young on the younger side. I said, when I spoke with Coach Gordon after the game, my only concern is once they get into SWAC play is having a real true post presence. Because as we know, many other SWAC teams, either their best player is a post player who's extremely athletic or tall and like dominant, or they have a lot of depth at the post position of players who know their role and are out there to rebound and do what they need to do. And I saw people mention the 6'6" player. I don't know why people are necessarily excited about that, because if you look at her stats from Chicago State, they are very little to none on the worst losing team in the nation last year. So maybe just hold your expectations a little lower until we see her out there participating in the game. I know her eligibility, I believe, is up for question this season. But, those are things that you can work around as long as your guards are doing what they have to do. Delancey was a letdown. I think everyone knows I was very vocal every time I came on ONG last year. I thought her body language, and I said this, her body language was very piss poor, and it affected her overall play. I think based on what she's giving the audience, she cares a lot about scoring, and when it's not going in the basket, it affects her overall game, and you can read that all over her body. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed, but considering how deep they go, it's next person up, who wants to play type of mentality. And so I think it's a great first game. I think both teams didn't look, their absolute best. I think they both had, different issues they were dealing with throughout the game. And I didn't say it online, but I knew Howard was going to win by like 10 points just because they already had that chemistry. They only have about 3 new players. And so when you have chemistry and everything else is falling apart, you have things you can fall back on. I think FAMU can get to that point. It's just determining on setting expectations and roles and understanding that you cannot not do the little things like the dead ball turnovers, allowing Kaya Creek. This was like the nail in the coffin when they allowed Kaya Creek, who's a 3-point shooter, a wide open 3 on the right wing. She was wide open. No one was near. And she just cashed it in. And that's like, you need to know the scouting report front and back for every single player. It doesn't matter who you're matched up with. You need to know personnel on the floor. But all in all, I think the family should be very happy with where women's basketball is right now. It's very easy fixes and things that are low-hanging fruit that if the team buys in and is willing to dedicate themselves to those things, they can be a real contender in the conference this season.
It's funny you mentioned the shooting, because that was one of the, when I went back and was watching or looking at stats, Howard never had a quarter where they shot less than 50% from the field. Not one. I mean, like the lowest quarter they shot was the opening quarter. So, hey, opening quarter of the season, we shoot 50%. Oh, everywhere else, they were shooting 53, 54, 54. I'm like, damn. Then I go and look at our shooting. Whew, that fourth quarter, we couldn't throw it. It almost like we played some good defense, but it's like we couldn't we couldn't hit the beach or hit the water from the beach. I mean, it was like 4-17. It was tough. So that just kind of stood out to me. But like you said, that chemistry matters, and Howard. That's why Howard is predicted to be, I don't know, right there with Norfolk State in the MEAC.
They received the same amount of votes. I'm just saying the overall same number.
So yes, they did. Upcoming FAMU's the women are traveling to play Florida. I know last year we went down there. It was a tough one. What's the mindset for coaching staffs and teams when you have to go on the road and play these Power Fives, and what do you think the mindset of this team will be as they travel to Gainesville?
I mean, in my opinion, it should always be win. It doesn't matter who you play. You should never enter a game thinking you're going to lose. And considering I was on a team that beat Clemson on Clemson's floor, that was always just our mentality. And to me, I never cared who I was playing against. I'm going to talk my talk and I'm going to get you these buckets, period. Like, and that just has to be the mentality. You have to stay true to who you are as a team and not let the other team dictate you. And if you give 100% and you still lose by 30, 40 points, that is what it is. But don't get out of your body. Don't start doing things you normally wouldn't do. Like, stay true to what the team's goals are, what Coach Gordon's vision is, and just play the game. And then just do the little things. And I thought for a lot of the game versus Howard, they did that, like the diving on the floor for balls. They did a lot more boxing out, a few times they didn't, but taking the best shot available, like don't force the issue. And so if they just do those things, but the mindset should always be to win. I don't care. Like how whoever just went into South Carolina, they got paid $90,000 to go to South Carolina and they beat them the first game of the season for men. Whoever the men's team, the Gamecocks just played. Like, you can't care about that. I don't care that they're the Florida Gators. Just go in there and compete and see what happened. Like UAPB, I was finishing the game. They just lost to Tulsa on a buzzer beater. Like, but they led by as many as 17. So it's like, who cares? Go in there and just hoop and do what you were recruited to do.
There you go. What you got? You guys got anything here for Liv that you want to jump in there and ask?
Yeah, Liv. Did you get a chance? I know you did. To see some of the other women's scores and in the MEAG and SWAC, and talk to me. What stood out to you with some of the other games?
So North Carolina A&T, they were with SMU for a lot of the game, and Jordan Dorsey is she's a hooper. She can go. She was unanimous all CAA first team selection. I think they're going to be super competitive in the CAA, and them to open up their season at a tough SMU. They lost, it was by like 10 or 12, but it was a good game. A lot of the other games, when teams are playing like, lower level teams or the blowout games, I will say Valley's going to give people problems this year. They got whooped tonight. They need to find consistency. But for them to go to Memphis, lose by only 11 and be in it the whole game, and for Shadiman McKnight to almost get a quadruple double. And I'm also kind of mad for her. Her coach sat her with 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I was like, let her get the quadruple double. So I think they've added a lot. When I say a lot, they've added a lot of depth. And I actually think they're better with Shadiman McKnight coming off the bench. She came off the bench versus Memphis. She started tonight. I just think she brings different energy. Who else was there? I mean, I feel like I need to address the elephant in the room because I saw a lot of FAMU people having an issue with the Grambling score. And
I saw that.
Maybe not an issue, but me saying, like, making a tweet about it and them like saying something. But I will say I am not opposed to teams playing, lower level teams as like a confidence game, because I mean that's what a lot of Power 5 schools do. They to be honest, a lot of them look at us like that. And so they look at us like a tune-up game. And fortunately for us, we're competitive now. We have kind of that, we gonna come take your money and we gonna make you sweat. And like, we might take this W too. But Grambling, people were mad and I'm like, oh well, who cares? Like, it's a warm-up game. It's a confidence builder to really get your players going instead of going to a gym and losing by 40 your first game of the season. And then
I bet more coaches would tell the truth. Would more coaches rather start their season that way than what we see most of our coaches end up having to do, which is go on the road to start the season?
I think they would. And I think they're put in the situation of having to go on the road to get some money. And that's just the reality of it. But in my head, I'm like, crap. If we can beat a team 113-31, why not? To start the season, like, let's start on a high note. And if we remember last year, they did that and they also beat Arizona State. So it's like it was a tune-up for the real show. And so I wasn't mad at that. I'm concerned Alabama State's women's basketball program is never going to be back to where it was. Stillman had them on the ropes all night tonight. They only beat them by 5. It was 55-50. And I'm seeing the issues that were last year, which all they have is Cordesia Harris as a true option to score. They hit the portal hard, and right now, as of where the season is, 2 games in, it's not showing anything besides her. So I'm interested to see where that goes. And then tonight, I was pleasantly surprised with UAPB, considering Coach Leak, this is her first ever collegiate coaching job. And she goes into Tulsa, has them down by 17 at the half. And then it was a really good second half. Tulsa hits a buzzer beater with 0.2 seconds on the clock, a 3-pointer, and they lose by 3, which is a tough way. But I mean, there's a lot of talent. I'm really excited. Norfolk State also started the season on a huge win over William and Mary. They just crushed them every year. So I think women's basketball is in a good place right now. It's always hard to tell with some teams early on. But again, I think the most surprised I was and like, oh, wow, was Valley. Because to play at Memphis, who is an extremely physical team, and to compete with them the whole game. And to be honest, if Shadiman would have played that last 3 minutes and 30 seconds, they probably would have only lost by single digits. Which I don't like that. I'm like, play your star player. Like, I'm just different. If I'm that close to a quadruple double, I'm like, you're not subbing me out. Cause she was like 1 assist away, 1 steal, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds. Like, let me get this real quick. Because I also think that's good for brand awareness. Like, that would have been, remember the player from Grambling who got the quadruple double, and it was everywhere. It was all over ESPN, every single basketball network, NBA players, WNBA players. They were all posting about it. Like, that's good for your brand. But I mean,
that's a great point.
I just didn't like that. But yeah, I think, women's basketball ran the show last year. I have a very, very good feeling that that's going to happen again this year, just because the coaches they recruited their tails off. They got good players in. They're putting good products out. We have good, high quality coaches. And so I'm excited to see how the rest of this out of conference season goes, to really prep to see. Obviously, we're not going to see teams how they're going to be come February or March, but I think the teams who start rolling the fastest usually put themselves in better positions to win a championship at the end.
This is I don't know if I can jump in there for a second, Kelvin or Marcus, but this is obviously, we're only 3 days into the regular season. How soon do you think you will be able to form a real comfortable opinion about the rosters? Because obviously there were so many transfers in the off season. So how long do you think, another week or 2 before you can really form an assessment, or it may take a whole month?
I think it depends on the team, to be honest. It really is different team by team, because there are certain teams I look and I'm like, that girl's going to give nothing by the 5th game. And it's just, there usually are very clear indicators early on of who that player on the team is going to be. Whereas other teams, it's harder. Like, for instance, like Grambling. I just bring them up because they play so many players. Like, they don't play over 25 minutes a game. So they're hard to really understand, like, who's going to be the go-to player, because they go 10 to 12 deep. People who take a long time to get rolling through the out-of-conference schedule, it's harder. But, I mean, like I said, with FAMU, I think Demaya Griffin is the answer this year. She showed up when the crowd was big. I really enjoy her game. But no, I think with certain rosters, you can tell right away, and others it's harder, just based on, and I'll say it has a lot to do with coaching. Some coaches are still trying to figure out, who their strengths are come week 2, week 3, week 4, just because when you're playing those money games, a lot of times it's hard to find 5s that work for you. But for the most part, I'm pretty locked in. My basketball IQ is pretty good to know like what's about to happen. So
I love it. See, I'm telling you, live for hoops. I'm telling you, that's it. I'm telling you, that's it. Can we did you get a chance to watch any of the men, FAMU's men's team, whether it be the replay or watch them live against TCU?
I kept up with some of it. Obviously, everyone saw Shaq going viral, but I saw some of it, and I definitely do not shy away from like asking the coaches and asking the players, like, "Oh, how did it go?" Because I'm nosy like that, and I like hearing from the horse's mouth of like the people who coached the game and who actually played. So I'm going to be honest. I'm not concerned about FAMU men's basketball. I think TCU is they're a really good competitor, and it doesn't get easier them going to SMU. Like it actually might get a little bit harder. And so I think that people need to understand this is a completely new team who is going on the road against really good high level competition. I truly believe they have the guard play that can separate them, and people can be like, "Oh, they looked bad against a really good TCU team in his first game." I think people were so understanding last year with Coach Gordon. I think they need to be understanding this year with Coach Crary and know that like give him the time to implement his system, get the players in his system. Like it's going to take a few games. It's not like they started with playing the blind and the poor. Like let's keep it a buck. I want people to be so realistic. They didn't go up the street and play like they didn't play. They could have opened their schedule versus an NAIA team. They could have. He didn't do that. So let's just let players get acclimated to each other, let them get acclimated to the system, and just let it be what it is. I guarantee you, though, they're going to make the conference tournament. I don't doubt it because of who he is. And from what I'm hearing from the players and from the culture, they're completely bought in. And so I think that it was a struggle. But if you look at the men's scores across the board,
oh, they were brutal. They were brutal.
It was brutal all night. And I'm talking about from veteran coaches across the HBCUs. It was brutal all night. Games that I was like, ooh, they might have a chance. They got whooped.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know why more people don't play those exit. You know, it's like, why don't you play? It's like, yes, I know you got to send these guys out to go play these games because you need that money. But damn, let these guys get a game under the belt. Now that could work against you, like it did Alcorn State. But still, I would rather you have a chance play an NAIA or a D2 right off the rip, and maybe get a little confidence boost before you run out and play a Big 12 or Big 10 school.
And I also think a lot more coaches are hounding them about this is not a game we can lose. Seeing how there have been upsets. There's like, okay, losing to a mid-major team. I'm just keeping it real. There's losing to a mid-major team and then losing to an HBCU. Like there's different levels in the eyes of coaches of like what's like, oh, okay. But then that, like, it's different. And so again, they rolled. TCU is not like they're not like easy Division I team. And keep things in perspective. Every single men's team who played a Division I team on opening day got whooped. Tonight, Coppin got absolutely manhandled in the first 3 minutes of the game by High Point. That game was over in 3 minutes.
Wow.
Okay. Morgan State just lost to Mercyhurst, and that was their first Division I win. So let's keep it simple. Like, right? Just buy into what he's trying to do in this program because he's building the culture. If you haven't seen, he's out like with all the students. He's engaging with the community. That's what you want as a coach. So just be patient. Let it play out. Like, and plus he didn't like you said, how Alcorn dropped that game to Talladega, which Talladega is not like an easy NAIA team. I'm surprised they put them on their schedule because they're one of the most physical teams in the country. But you know, I'm I'm a fan of him, and anyone who knows, like, I was very pro someone else getting this job. And since he's come in, he's made it known, like, despite everything, he wants to be here. He wants to win. And so just be patient. Just be patient. And plus, again, they have more options this year. The roster looks way different than last year. So that's the biggest thing, is they have deeper options. Of course, the scoring was just against TCU. Like, there wasn't a lot happening, but they still, like someone said, they at least put up 59 points. So you're laughing. I'm being serious, because it could have been way worse.
It could have been. We're not going to talk about what I lost on that game. But anyway,
you bet on that?
it was a bad Tuesday for me in so many different ways. I can't even explain it. But anyway, all right. So let me see. Looking at the schedule. Okay, so the women's game at Florida is a 6 p.m. Eastern tip-off. That game obviously will be on ESPN Plus. The men's game is 8 p.m. So you got a double header of FAMU hoops. You just got to have a good stomach because you never know what might happen. But the 6 p.m. is the women's game. The 8 p.m. is the men's game.
I'm showing 7.
Are you 7?
I'm
looking at the athletic website. It says 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Hold on. To that man's comment, or woman, whoever you are, I'm saying that's the coaches' views, college coaches' views of HBCUs. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe that. Why would I believe that if I played at one? College coaches view HBCUs as easy W's. We're keeping that a buck. That's why they put them on the schedule and pay them upwards of $90K to come play them. That's what money games are for, guaranteed wins. I don't think that. They think that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. I agree with that.
I just wanted to clear that up, that I don't think that. Like, I hope we roll in everyone's gym and beat them, or at least make them sweat, and make them be like, oh, we might really lose this game. But
we should be striving to, and I use the analogy on Sunday, we should be striving to be what Gonzaga was early on. Go, doesn't matter. Go to their house, beat them, take their money, and eventually they don't want to play you.
No,
but
there's so many teams who don't schedule Norfolk State anymore because they don't want to pay them to lose.
Right, and what will happen is it's going to have to be more money involved, or some television money will have to come involved in order for you to have to play them. That's what being good does. Or you'll have to start playing some 2-for-1s, like 2 road trips and 1 home, maybe. That's the kind of foolishness they'll start doing instead of playing mano-y-manos, I bet. So,
and we're not going to be competitive in every matchup when what happened with him happened. I'm sorry, because now you guys are going to make me go off. We're not going to be competitive in every single matchup when he was literally ripped of his contract, given a 1-year deal. Players saw that. What are we talking about here? Please, I'm sorry. I'm being very honest with you. And everyone's like, oh, if he wants to stay, just know that check is going to have to come with after this year if they want him to stay. More money.
For sure.
Of course, we want to be competitive in every matchup, but I'm sorry, if we're playing, who's the number 1 team this year for men? I don't even pay attention.
I don't even know who is the number 1 team, because I feel like the top 8 teams are all worthy of being number 1, and they'll probably all fluctuate. In whoever the top 8 is today, they'll probably all get a taste of number 1.
I think it's Kansas.
Kansas or Duke. I don't know.
It's Kansas.
Duke.
And
it's
I think
the
Howard.
Same 8 teams.
It's Kansas, I think. Didn't Howard play them on opening night? I think they did.
I think they did.
Of course, we want to always be competitive, but until our money equals the type of recruits we want to see, that's not always going to be the answer, and that's unfortunately the truth.
Yeah.
When kids are leaving, literally a player left and was receiving 6 figures to go play at another school. He left an HBCU because he was guaranteed 6 figures. So
basketball?
Yes.
men's team
A men's
already?
player, yeah.
Already, the season hadn't even started, and he
No,
left.
this was a last year's player, not this year.
Okay,
A last year's player.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
I was like, if that's already, I mean, I'm sure it is happening now already. To be honest.
Yeah. All right. Liv, any more broadcast opportunities since you got that Rattlers Plus on your reel? They should be calling. People should be on the phone calling soon.
I will be in. No, they didn't get offered 6 figures to play in the HBCU. They got offered 6 figures to leave their HBCU and go to a PWI. I will be in Atlanta next weekend for the HBCU Classic to cover Fayetteville State versus Tuskegee and Shaw versus Clark Atlanta. So I will be there in attendance covering those games, which should be fun.
Where's that game going to be? Is that going to be at Clark?
Yep, both games are at Clark this year.
Okay. That's a nice gym. That's a nice gym over at Clark. So that'll be good. That's almost feels like is that like sounds like an SIAC versus CIAA matchup?
So it's actually put on by HBCU All Stars LLC. Yeah. And so every year it is the D2 of SIAC versus CIAA, but they do have Division I, but their games are on Wednesday, and so that's Howard versus Tennessee State. But I like it. I think they're good teams, and I heard Fayetteville State has one of the best rosters from 1 through 8 in the CIAA. So definitely a good team to watch out for.
All right, you get a chance to put eyes on them.
Kelvin requested me to come back to Tallahassee, so
that's right.
There you go. There it is.
We got to make it happen.
And this time I'm gonna talk to the AD. I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find if Melvin Bill's gonna be on vacation or so. I love you, Melvin Bill. He may be watching. Melvin, when you go on vacation, let me know, and then that way I can have Liv come in, and then I can do the game with Liv. So there you go. Bucket list. So we'll see.
Ain't nobody say nothing about you.
I know. I just had to insert me because I'm in my feelings right now. That's all. All right. Make sure you follow Liv on X and on Instagram at Liv for Hoops. And everything else good with you, Liv?
Yeah, I'm just excited that the season is here and we can get it rolling. Games are on literally every night. So I'm just excited for that. And we should all be excited because the product is good, especially I won't speak on the men because that always just bores me if I'm going to be honest. Like I'll watch it, but it's just not, it doesn't give what it's supposed to give. The women are putting out great products like they did last year. And so if you're not buying in and if all the family says they love coach pressure like they do, then you should be making sure you're watching all the games. If you're in Tallahassee, going to all the games. Buying
those season tickets as well. Buying those season tickets, definitely.
Yes. But yeah, I'm excited because basketball's here and I feel like I'm in my element when it's here. So,
well, you're one of the best follows on social media on game day, game nights, so I don't know how you get anything else done, but we love you for the firestorm of tweets and commentary during games. So make sure you guys follow Liv.
Liv got it in a little bit too. I ain't gonna tell too much, but she got the chance to, refresh herself and, sit by the beach, or the pool, that kind of stuff.
I saw. Boy, the
I had to do it.
Hot. The gram was hot, boy. I tell you what, boy. All right, I'm gonna let Liv go before I get in trouble. All right, Liv, it's always a pleasure seeing you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
All right, bye.
All right. Good stuff. Always enjoy having Liv on. You guys make sure to hit Liv up at Liv for Hoops on socials. Make sure to hit her up. All right. Well, I feel like we can get ready to wrap up the show because I know Marcus has got to get out, so we can kind of, get into, I don't know how much real analysis we really need to get into with this Prairie View team.
We did, but I did want to say, since we're back to football, that I think each one of us hit at least one of our bold predictions.
Mm-hmm. No, I think we hit all of them.
Special teams touchdown, over 30, 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
First rushing touchdown.
First rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good job, OG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. I did want to say before we jump, I did want to make mention of the season ticket thing I mentioned about the basketball. I know AD Suggs had mentioned that we were already at 50 season tickets, which I love how she put it. It's already like 4 times more than what we got last year. So which is sad, So I think she said anybody who guessed the number, put that on your bingo card. But 50 is not bad, but it definitely can be greater.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she mentioned the goal was to try to raise 1,000. I will say, I think what makes it challenging is we still haven't seen any visual, I keep hearing people say, well, how do I buy my season tickets? That's I don't know if that's not good. Somehow we got to get that information available, or maybe I'm missing. Is it out there already, Kelvin? Is it, Marcus? I mean, do people know how they can buy their season tickets?
I mean, you can
I haven't seen any online promotion. Not to say it isn't out there, but
people who bought season tickets already, all we got to do is go to that Ticketmaster portfolio. I FAMU, and it's already sitting there for us to renew, which I have to do. And
but new people, I mean, I think that's you guys who are season ticket holders. Now, I get it. There's enough season ticket holders from football that we can get to buy into basketball, but there's also got to be that pitch of we got to get the new people.
Well, I'm not saying that that's not happening. I was speaking specifically for my cohort, but I think having a campaign where you send out, I know they're sending out notices to their email database, and I can't recall, frankly, to be honest, did I get a basketball specific one yet? So obviously that would be one thing. I think they're trying to still get all the ticket stuff together too, though. So I know, like right now, you can't. I think it's this Thursday or next Thursday before you can pick up your tickets or have them printed out. So I think they're still working through that process, frankly, and we'll see more of that once they have all the I's dotted and T's crossed. Worst thing you can do is send something out, and then you're not prepared, and folks go to do it, and then you got to tell them, well, hold on. Yeah.
I got you. All right. Well, I know it'll happen. I just would have been nice to have it ready, but it will come. Okay. Gail said that 80 Suggs said they'll be available next Thursday. So good stuff. Wow. Okay, Gail, look at you taking care of 6 seasons. That's nice. That's awesome, Gail. That's what's up. Okay. Gail's she's our record keeper. Marcus, you had a first rushing touchdown, scoring over 30. So that's two for you, Marcus. Kelvin, 0 turnovers. Did we have a turnover? Yeah, we had 2.
We had 2.
Yeah.
Okay. You did get the over 35 points. You got that. So let me see. Marcus got 2. Kelvin got 1. Gail, do you have mine? I don't know. Did you post your mine up there yet?
Rushing TD.
Was that the only one I did? The rushing touchdown? Oh, here it is. I had 2 rushing touchdowns, 100. I got the 150 rushing team total. Cha-ching. There you go. I was a little greedy with 2, but it's
no, you almost had it because of Bo.
Should have had it. That's the point, Marcus. That's what frustrated the hell out of me.
Bo had it.
I should have had it.
And actually, I think he scored on the next play, but they said that Texas Southern had called a timeout right when they hiked, right when they snapped the ball and they didn't count the run. But I think he did run it in, but they because at first I think they thought it was a flag, but then they said the Texas Southern called a timeout. There was some confusion, and at least on the call that I was watching. So I thought Bo had it after his 49-yard run, and then they gave it right back to him. But all right, fellas, I don't know if I have a prolonged talk. I gotta.
All right, you're itching. I see you're itching. All right, let's go. Let's go, Marcus. Go ahead. Again, the Rattlers are at Prairie View A&M on Saturday. Wait a minute, did we lose him?
No, Marcus said he got to sign out.
Oh damn, he didn't give his prediction. I thought he was going to hang in there. Man, okay. Well, boy, when that itch comes, you got to go. Shit.
Hey,
okay.
EA. The AD Suggs said that's going to be an add-on, that courtside club, above the rim club. Waiting on that information still, how much it's going to cost and when it's available. So we'll have her back on to tell us about it.
All right. All right. Preview. I'm trying to see, do I see my live stats or live notes? I was going to reference, again, this game is going to be on ESPN Plus. It's a 3 Eastern kickoff. That's 2 Central local time. So 2 o'clock out there in Texas. If you're going to the game, that'll be a 2 o'clock game. It's definitely been in the 60s the last time FAMU traveled to Prairie View. So it should be a good game, good opportunity for FAMU to stretch his legs in the state of Texas for the 2nd consecutive year. All right, what do we break down on this game, Kelvin? What's your bold prediction in your score outcome?
So I'm looking at Prairie View wins. They beat Northwestern State. I watched that game. They almost gave it away. End up winning by 6. They beat Grambling, who's a bad team this year, by 2. They beat Texas A&M. They beat Texas A&M, not Prairie View.
No, Grambling. You said Grambling was a bad team.
They are a bad team. Texas A&M. They beat Texas A&M Commerce by a touchdown, which is a transitioning FCS school, and they beat Valley. So
barely.
Yeah, barely. So I mean, though Valley can be tough to beat in Itabena. So I'll give that. But my expectation is we played Prairie View twice last year. It wasn't a competitive game either time. And they were the SWAC winners. Because this game, SWAC West winners. Because this game is in Prairie View, that may count for something. And so we don't need to mess around with this game. But I think our defense and our offense and our coaches, everybody's on the same page, I believe now. We kind of know what we know, and we playing together. So long as we don't try to get out of character, stick with a short passing game to set up the run. Prairie View is not a elite passing team, so stop the run, force them to pass. And hopefully the last 2 times we played them last year, we got out the fast starts, similar to what we did with Texas Southern. So I'm expecting something similar. And I think this is going to be a double-digit win. My bold prediction, I'm not going with no turnovers again. Because I don't think that's realistic.
It's not in our DNA. It doesn't seem to be in our DNA.
It's just not there. I feel pretty good about holding the team under 10 again with this particular matchup. And I'll go defense. I've been going a lot of offense. I'll go defense this time. I'm going to predict 3 turnovers for the defense.
So we get 3 turnovers? Defense gets 3 turnovers?
The defense calls 3 turnovers.
Okay. I think I'm going over. I think we score over 40 points We scored over 40 the last 2 times we played them. And I probably had more respect for Prairie View's defense last year. So I have a feeling we can put up 40 or close to 40. I'm fascinated in this game from the sense, Kelvin, I think anytime you start to feel good about yourself, and then now you have to go out on the road. And I know that after this week, the last 3 games are home. I know they're in the state of Florida. 2 of the last 3 are at home. All three of them are in the state of Florida. This is the game that I think will tell me a lot about this team, because can you show me the consistency it takes to be a championship caliber? Should we get the opportunity to go and play for a championship through the benefit of other people, right? This game will tell me that this team is focused and locked in. You know, remember I said when we were 6-6, 3-3, or excuse me, when we were 3-3, 1-1, or 1-2, and 1-1 in the conference, I said we were what we are, which was an average team. And so now, since then, we've played 2 really good defensive games in terms of the amount of yardage that we've allowed. But like you, the turnovers, but the play calling's been a little better, and it needs to continue to be a little better. So I'm hopeful. But that's what I'm paying attention to. I want to see us be locked in. I want to see, can we really be locked in the first quarter, first half? That's going to tell me a lot about what we've learned about ourselves in the last 2 weeks since the Jackson State loss. That's going to tell me. So this
Bryan,
game, yeah.
I was just going to say real quick, they done lost to Texas Southern, they lost to Southern, and they lost to Pine Bluff. I mean, all teams that we handled pretty well. But I just want to point out, listen to how they finished the season. This is Prairie View schedule. They play us at home. Then they play Alcorn at home. Then they got to go to Alabama State. It's not looking good for them.
No, I mean, but I'm going to flip that. If you're them looking at this game, they're looking at it like, hey, guys, we've won 2 games in a row, which they have, just like us, 2-game winning streak. And they're not that far out of the conference race. I mean, look at the standings again. I mean, they're 2-3, but that's 2 games out of first place. And Southern's schedule is not easy down the stretch. So this is their last chance to stay in the race. They lose this game, those last 2 games are a wash. They mean absolutely nothing for their season. But if they're going to do anything, it starts in this game. So I'm just saying that's the message that they're going to be speaking on. That's what you're going to hear. That's what you should hear from that locker room with Bubba McDowell. So, but I'm going with us. I'm playing with our. I'm buying in. So I'm going. Let's see. Bold prediction. We still haven't had a 100-yard solo rusher. So I'm going with, and I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to give you a name. Thad Franklin over 120 yards rushing. I'm going to go over 100, but I think it'll be in the 120s. Thad Franklin, solo. I mean, the guys are going to do what they do, but I'm feeling Thad Franklin's been running well. I think he may break off a big run, which will help him get to the 100 mark and 120. And then final score, I'm going 42-13. 42-13. I said we'd get over 40, so I'm going 42-13. And I like you. I think we can hold them under 2 touchdowns. So, all right. Well, I think that covers it for tonight's show. Don't have Marcus's bold predictions. He tapped out a little early, but appreciate Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Appreciate everybody for, being a part of the show tonight. Please hit the thumbs up and the like button, however you're watching the show, wherever you're watching the show. Even if you're watching us on replay, you can hit the thumbs up button on replay. We appreciate it. Download the BCSN Pod Zone everywhere you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple and Google Podcasts. Search BCSN Pod Zone. All of the shows that are part of the Black College Sports Network, you can hear right on the BCSN Pod Zone. So, again, got to thank Colonel Eli for coming in. Appreciate everybody who's donated on the link. We'll make sure to post that out. We'll tweet it, and we'll, the PYDF, Patrick Youth Development Foundation, that is where you can donate the NIL fund. And $50 was the pledge since we got our first rushing touchdown. Shout out to Thad Franklin, who got it, Kelvin Dean, and the rest of the Tote gang, both Somerset, for doing what they do. And let's just go ahead and continue to support our student athletes. Good luck to our Rattler. Oh, Kelvin. Gail said, Kelvin, you didn't give a score.
I'm going to go with, because we're on the road and because I can't predict that we won't turn the ball over, I'm going to go with 35-7.
35-7. All right. Let's keep an eye out on Gillis, Cameron Gillis. EA brings up a good point about Cameron Gillis and his leg. Some issues there. Just we'll have to keep an eye on our special teams. The depth of the special teams has been challenged this year with some injuries and other stuff. So we'll hope that doesn't bite us in the rear. So
we still got a kicker and punter, and the punter been doing fine. The field goal kicking has been fine. Just the issue with the kickoffs, and his leg is not strong enough to get it to the end zone consistently. So we got to set up the return, the kick coverage team correctly, or kick it out of bounds.
Well said. Well said. Again, thank you everybody for being a part of the show. Thank Eli, Colonel Eli. Thank you to Liv Antilla. That's at Liv for Hoops is where you can find her. Good luck to our men and women's, or actually our women and men. The women tip off at 6 p.m. At Florida. That's Eastern Standard Time. That'll be on ESPN. And then the men are at 8 p.m. They take on SMU in Dallas. So whether you're a Gainesville area, Central Florida Rattler, get up to Gainesville, go support the women. If you're a Dallas Rattler, get out to Texas, or a Texas Dallas Rattler, get out to SMU to go support the men. You guys do that. Don't forget, 9 a.m., you can watch Sarah Rakim at the ITA Regionals. And that's a good opportunity. Go to FAMUathletics.com, check out the link so you can follow and watch her at 9 o'clock. All right, Rattler Nation. On behalf of Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier, I'm Brian Fulford. Thank you. Stay prayed up. Be safe. I know, keep hydrating. I know some of y'all still recovering from homecoming. Things up. Rattlers, make sure to strike, and strike again. Be well, everybody. Good night.